Thanks for bearing with us there, folks. We are live into the server. Haven't missed any action here. We're just ready to get things underway. And so are the teams as well. Look at that heavy presence in towards the connector. PaiN Gaming want to fight here early, and instead it's Nython to collect on the first. A surgical shot on the wall go by the fountain. This is not a great setup right now. They need to deal with it. PKL instead is deadly with that USP, as we know. It's only going to be one survivor. Glacia. Now, this is doable. It's a 1v2, and the two are isolated. But it's going to take some seriously snappy Glock work. And in the meantime, Glacia wants to readjust the terms of engagement and sneak away from his last known position here, John.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy task for him to get on either of these bomb sites. The thing is, it is going to be a 1v1 either way. He is choosing the closer engagement. That is Nython, unbeknownst to him, of course, as Nython's waiting around. Found it, no. He backs off, says, okay, I'm not too confident with that. And he's going to go back to the lower tunnels, yeah.
What's the read here? Okay, wanted to see if maybe the pusher on the flank was happening. This is his last known position, but obviously a lot of time's gone off the clock now. So it's not like they're going to have a read. He's also sticking with the Glock, which part of him may be not wanting to give up the audio cue, but there are USPs close at hand, which would lend itself to a one-tap headshot. Oh, there's the spot, but not quick enough. Nython found the timing, and Nython found the execution shot as well. Good round for PaiN. Nice setup, right? I mean, this basically predicts exactly what EG wanted to do, and they just dismantled it.
Yeah, I would say EG did fight quite well out of that engagement, considering how stacked up PaiN were. But at the end of the day, you're right. You know, PaiN came out with the advantage, 2v1, and there was nothing that could be done at the end. Great job by Nython to isolate that player with a quick shot. Now Big is going to push up towards Fountain. And he's going to have a peek in towards Playground. Bigu, oh, so up close and personal here. EG's not buying up anything. Of course, didn't get the bomb plant, so it's only going to be Glocks across the board. No utility, nothing. They're open for a bomb plant, probably at best. Bigu's going to peek around. He gets taken. He's surrounded, actually. He can go down, and he does. Well played by EG. That's an upgrade to at least one MP9.
That it is indeed not the way you want to get things started here if you're PaiN either. Still very little to show in this round, but, you know, things can get out of hand pretty quick. And Nython is isolated here. He's going to face up against the Glocks, and, well, he's just chewing through them, but he runs out of bullets. There's not so many bullets in that M4A1S anymore, remember? And now Walko, well, he is isolated, and he's kind of up to speed. Not got a paddle. He really finds another kill. So some damage done in this round, but it's nothing catastrophic. It's nothing really substantial. They won't recover the A1S, though. And that is at least going to impose some degree of financial burden here on towards PaiN.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Nython did some good work there in the anti-eco to get 3 frags, but EG buying nothing in the round. Any frag is good, and they got 2 of them. That first one in particular made it a little scary for PaiN, and I don't think PaiN really got to settle down at all in that round. There were always EG that is threatening them throughout.
Interesting here. I think, okay, so there's an A4 on Bigu Zero, but I'm pretty sure Hardzout bought it. And then swap back to 9.
Yes.
Which would make sense as well with where he's playing. Where did they have Bigu? Yeah, okay, Bigu's soloing A, so that makes a lot of sense, actually. PKL running things a little risky here up against the AKs, right? EG just taking some control, some presence outside of construction early on to prevent maybe this aggressive play that PaiN might be prone to. They got 3 players here towards B. This is a very heavy lean with the SMGs. And at least for now, Evil Geniuses are not taking the bait. They're methodical in their approach here. And if Biguzera is dropped, this could be bad. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. That's not bad. Walko sacrifice, but it does mean that Nython's going to have to come up. Problem is, again, they don't have a ton of information. They really just saw 2 players, and while it is the bomb, it's so far back that they can't full commit to anything. So they opt to keep 3 still down towards B. But with 40 seconds to go, that at least currently doesn't necessarily seem to be the right answer to this equation. EG is just so slow into it, John.
Yeah, they are. I thought they were going to fake towards A and then just charge into B, given the time left on the clock. But no, they decided to go all the way towards A. And now less than 30 seconds, and they've got to go.
But they do have a huge gap here, right? With Nython coming around on the flank in towards bathrooms, it definitely is, especially if he drops the bomb. Chaos could seep in. You could get into a bad situation. Are they planting exposed? They are, but it's going to go down. Nython won't have the timing on this one, and that's huge. That's critical here. Time could have been rough. No one's watching the bathrooms. He's just walked through. He's just walked through. And now he's got reinforcements coming in as well. That's a big find for Hext. had to do it. He's looking for the next fight as well. He won't have that. It's going to be a 2 and 3 on the retake. There are kits here as well, so time works out for PaiN. They do need to get a move on. But first contact, set up the second shot, but Clasia with the verticality, dropping off of the truck, can't get his aim zeroed in. That's a huge round win early for PaiN.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good trade from Hex to take down Nithon after Nithon gets one, but the fact that Nithon even gets anything there puts the doubt in EG's mind. They don't know where the hit or the retake's going to come from, and they start to move around and try to close the gaps. By that point, of course, PaiN took advantage, came in, got the frags, and took care of business. 3-0. At least EG get that bomb plant, though, but they're a pretty conservative team, and you see it here. They could have forced up into this one and had a pretty decent buyout, but instead they go for the half buy. It's going to be 2 Tech 9s, make that 3 Tech 9s, 2 Deagles, and 6 pieces of utility, 2 of those smokes. So we'll see what they decide to do here, whether it be quick or slow paced. It looks like they're going to go for the quick take of water, but now they're backing off a little bit, perhaps heading into Monster. Would have been perhaps better to hold on to that space and deal with Hardzal, but instead they give it up, and I think they want to retreat completely off of B here, perhaps just hoping the audio cues were enough to force PaiN around and off of that A site.
They've got vision, though, with Big Uzera here in the connector. This is going to be a pretty good setup for it. Nithon will have that rifle to come up and assist him as soon as he finds this contact, and he's looking for it. Big hasn't been called in just yet. Juan is too far up his steps. He might get his bell rung. There's the contact. That's what he was looking for. Still a little worried about the connector play, but they're past him. This is going to get weird for EG. It's going to get weird for everybody, to be quite frank. And, well, Big U might just ruin everything. They haven't checked connector. They're also not watching connector. I think Big Uzera is about to kill a lot of people. There's 1, there's 2, there's the bomb, and there's the round. Just about delivered because they, at no point, considered the possibility that someone might be in con. That's a little bit of an oversight here. Hex is going to get this kill, at least keep the round somewhat in doubt, but Hardzal has come in to reinforce, and things are looking very rough indeed. Clasia gonna see what damage he can do. 1v4, at least one more kill comes through to prevent that economy from going out of control. But John, if you're gonna play a slow, methodical style, the point of doing that is to make sure you've cleared things out.
Yes.
If you're going slow and methodical and also not clearing things out, you're kind of getting the worst of both worlds.
Absolutely. They should have had someone watching connector in that situation. And if they did, probably could have gone 1 for 1 or even prevented Big Uzera from doing anything at all. But instead, Big Uzera does the damage. Finally does go down at the end, but it's a moot point because they had to recover the bomb and get to the bomb site. Here we go, though. The rifles are back out for EG, and Wiz gets the opener. And remember that stat I mentioned. When he does, they win 82% of their rounds. So the odds are very much in EG's favor here.
Though from Big Uzera, hunting off a Molotov, not going to get the kill. Utility enough to upset his aim, and now it's looking good for EG. PKL wants to change that. Wants to change that, but oh, they're scoped up, and Wiz ain't missing. Not right now. Not right here. So now it's Nekis and Hardzal isolated towards either side. It's going to require a hero play from one of them, and while Nekis will find the first, he's got a lot more targets to find here, and they are coming for him. They know they've got him isolated. They know they've got him selected. The first off shot misses a little too early there, but it's the nades to take him out of play. Hardzal has come up. They expected to be in the corner. Certainly the first doesn't. The second shot is good. 3 kills for Wiz. That off. Starting to heat up a little bit.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Wiz looking great with the big green. Nice to see him hit a 3K early on as well, and it helps his team crack the scoreboard and getting that first there. Good effort by PaiN to try and get back into this one, but Wiz was not going to allow it by any means. And if we're talking about Overpass, I just want to get this stat out there. They've played this map against each other twice so far this year. They split the difference at 1-1, but technically the edge in terms of round differential, it belongs to EG at +4 because they had a dominant win 16-9 in season 40 of Challenge League, but that's all the way back to the regular season. Yeah. So I'm not sure how relevant that result is. The more recent one, of course, was in May 29th in the Spring Cash Cup, number 5, where PaiN won 16-13 here.
And that was that the Cash Cup where they were playing as a mix as well, where they had one player out?
No, that was not. That was the previous one on May 8th, where they also won 2-1 in their series, but Overpass was not played. Yeah.
Okay. Gotta keep track. Slow round. as we've come to expect early on here from EG. They're taking this bathroom's control. Got the space. It's double play out towards long. A little bit of a boost up here. Trying to make the op sing. Obviously, the op is the big piece they have in this round, but Nython, God, is he quick. Big Zero is going to be lost, but the op has already moved on over. So he'll be able to escape and live to fight another day, and they're calling up reinforcements. There's still the presence of Clasia outside of B, but if they're going to rotate, they got to do it right now. There is no time to spare. 25 seconds, and they're rotating in towards B. This could get bad, John, because 2 players are coming back down. It's not going to be the op, but it's going to be everything else here that they need to fight, and there's no time. There's no time. They're doing this with so little left. This is a partial buy, and meanwhile, EG have 12 seconds. You better go quick, guys. The Molly's just going to kill everyone, so okay, it's fine. Okay, what? How did they both die to the Molotov, John?
I honestly didn't see it. I don't know. That was crazy.
They both died back graffiti to a Molotov, too.
Yeah.
They were full health.
That was strange.
That's weird. I do not know what just happened, folks. I am a little stumped on that one. They were both back graffiti, right? That's not heaven on the minimap, is it?
I mean,
I see the body of one. Certainly one of them died back graffiti to a Molotov. Were they just running through it? Was a double molly that they didn't expect? I'm deeply confused here. I think EG are pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, given how much time they had left on the clock, everything had to go perfectly, and I think it went better than perfectly, if that's even possible, because those 2 Molotov frags are anything but expected against this PaiN Gaming roster, who, I don't know, just ran through it, didn't realize that it was the double molly, and that was the end of 2 lives there. And after that, only 1 player left, and EG didn't even have to worry about it because the bomb ticked away, and it ended up being a save of the big green. So they get a second round on the board. It is a little scary when you see EG going for those hits with less than 20 seconds left. They have a tendency to do so because they have a very slow and methodical pace of play. But when it works out, it probably feels good for them at the very least. But it's too risky to go for that on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and it's always against the half buys, right? It feels like where they get into a situation where they're often running into a site against pistols where they maybe don't have any. Because, I mean, think about it. If those 2 players hadn't been back graffiti, but they'd been up by Monster instead, who knows if they even get Eden to throw the utility they're looking for.
Right.
And they didn't have that information. They just had the 1 lurker outside Monster. So it definitely does leave a lot of opportunity for risks. We do see that get the better of them sometimes. Whew. I need, like, CSI Counter-Strike Edition to go back and recreate what just happened with those mollies. We need to crack back into the demo. I mean, it's kind of wild, man. I don't know what's going on there. What happened there?
I'm going to try and dig in and find out.
We'll crack the code. We'll crack the code. USP spam being attempted here. Not a lot to show for it, but they did eat a whole chunky bit of shrapnel instead. That will bring Nython up. 35 seconds are on the clock, so it's perfect time for a rotation here for EG. Actually, no, you're right. 10 more seconds need to bleed off the clock before they do that. Okay, 25 seconds. They've got nothing towards B. Surely this means it's an A hit. It's got to be at this point. There's 4 players here, and the op is here as well, because EG don't actually have much information. And they signaled this. So there's an opportunity here for Nython to do something. 13 seconds. They've got no time to spare. They better go. PKL's got him with the USP. The bomb's now been dropped. It's all falling apart. 7 seconds. Here's the problem. With no time left, you gotta fix that. They need the kill. They've lost the round to 1 op and 4 USPs, John. 1 op and 4 USPs. They run the clock down to 25 seconds before they hit, and they go into a site that they don't actually have any information on. Evil Geniuses just lost that round to themselves as much as PaiN did anything in it.
I mean, I just said it. You can't do that on a consistent basis and expect to find success, even against ecos. And
it's just, what are they? The point, they're not accomplishing anything while they're playing slow. They don't have any vision towards B.
No.
They had abandoned it. They had pulled off. Now they go for the quad boost. That's a nice opener here from Wiz. So maybe they can get back on track. The Yertle the Turtle's coming through. But golly, is this slow style frustrating to watch sometimes.
Yeah, that round in particular should not have gone the way of PaiN Gaming under most circumstances. Did have the op, right?
Man.
Nython did a good job, but
if they just hit the site, there wouldn't have been an op. It was playing in heaven. It rotated because they had that engagement towards long, and then they just waited.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. Also, I had a chance to look back on the Molotov, and I think it might have
Okay.
just been one Molotov and a flashbang and didn't realize they were burning in it. Something
Hmm.
along those lines. But unfortunately, I didn't have much visibility on it. Just had to have a look at the radar. So, uh, yeah, it was a crazy round to say the least. But back into this one, round number 8, Evil Geniuses do have that opener from Wiz, which is the best player they can find it from. Maybe they can build off that, like you said, and take this one. Bigu could be a thorn in their side. Flash comes through, completely misses, but Wildco's not going to miss his shot, and then
Okay.
X
All
follows up
right.
with a headshot of his own onto Nithon. 5v2, just like that.
And look at this. 30 seconds still on the clock, and you have control of a site.
Perfect, yes.
It is allowed. Ooh, that one not going to work out for Classy on the lurk, so that should allow PaiN Gaming to likely save these couple of rifles. Still not going to attempt to make the retake happen, right? Obviously, their bank is drained. Nithon and Hardzao have a little bit of cash, so if they save these 2 guns, they might be able to get a buy up in the next. Is their loss bonus? Well, isn't really there yet, or anywhere. I think it might actually be 1,400. So, Evil Geniuses. Course correct here. They may not win what should be a gimme round, but they do win the hard round. They do make it happen with some brilliant entries on bathrooms. Maybe that round against the USPs is going to persuade them to pick up the pace just a touch here.
I mean, you have to, and you saw them do it there with 35 seconds left on the clock. They went for their execute, which is more typically what you should do. But you can always, I don't want to say you can't do an execute with less than 25 seconds. You shouldn't, but you can throw it in the mix to try and keep the pace a little bit off balance against the other team. But twice in a row, no, it's not going to work.
I think the issue as well is if you're going to play that Wicked Slow style, not having any
You need
picks
map
by the time
control.
it happens or information, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have control around the map, for all you know, they were up connector by the time you were going for that hit. They weren't, but for all you know, they were, right? You don't have that information, and it does create issues for the team. Still, plenty of time to get this on the right track for EG. Plenty of time to course correct here.
Oh, yeah.
See what EG's going to be able to do.
Not to mention this is a CT-sided map, so picking up those T-sided rounds is a little rare, of course, and EG already have 3, so.
We'll play Molotov there. Allows Hex to take some control out by Fountain. It's heavy character presence this time, and there's no one in the con. So that ground will be conceded. Bit of spam damage through, but really inconsequential at this point. A little bit more. Less inconsequential. Certainly vulnerable to the A1S headshot at this point. And EG, pump the brakes. Because that's what they like to do.
They do.
This time, PaiN are content to let them. They've fallen way back on these fights.
One thing I have to give PaiN credit for as well is the patience, right? Because they are very prone to poking and prodding when the other team is going to come out in the early goings. But this time, no, they're waiting for EG to come to them.
Hard to read the tea leaves on EG, even this late into a round. 35 seconds. Setting up for their execute. This engagement with Big Uzera could be huge. If he finds the first pick, that could slow EG down just that little bit extra. 30 seconds. They're just now grouping. They've still got a player on construction. He seems to be the lurker. Maybe trying to draw attention here, but here comes the hit. Here comes the execute. And there are 2 CTs here, but they backed up. In towards the bank is one. Hex gets caught out by that bank player. Molotov a touch late. This could still work, but they need to deal with Nithon, and he's doing damage. Gotta get that bomb planted. 10 seconds. It's been dropped.
Bomb's
this
down.
round is just about over. It's over indeed. Once again, the clock is the greatest foe for EG. Despite those kills, Classia could do nothing to win the round. The clock will run out, and Evil Geniuses watch the grains of sand trip through that hourglass once again.
Yeah, 3 of the 9 rounds are going for executes with less than 20 seconds left, or 30 seconds left in that case. But regardless, yeah, you have to be perfect, and they weren't. Almost, but Nithon getting that second frag, I think, really was the nail in the coffin. Yeah, that too.
Because so here's the thing, right? If you're going to go, as you said, you have to be perfect if you're going to go in that late.
Yes.
If that molly is half a second earlier, then the bank player is either exposed or has to back away. Likely back away. It's PaiN, so maybe they go through, but it's still much more exposed in the fight. Instead, you lose the player who's furthest up, who's going to take that truck fight via the bank player, and then with Hex now dropped, the bomb now dropped as well, that's where problems seep in. So, for EG, they're just leaving themselves no margin for error. And yeah, maybe you can plan to be perfect, but that ain't going to work 9 out of 10 times. There's always going to be unexpected variables.
Actually, just to note, that was a timeout called by PaiN. In fact, I thought it was
Interesting.
going to be EG, but no.
Maybe they were like, "Hey guys, if that was 5 seconds earlier, we would have been in trouble. So let's
Yeah.
talk about that and fix the issue before they do."
Really would have been. One thing I admire about EG and I have throughout these past couple of years is that they're very good at adapting on the fly within a match. If they're making mistakes at one point, they do adjust themselves and fix them in real time, which is not easy to do, but Walco, as the IGL, really does catch on to these things quite quickly, which is admirable. They do have another buy up here for AKs, and the op, Clasia, is going to work his way into water. Chop is pinching as well.
Dead. Are his ankles exposed? There it is. There's the dead. Almost got the kill on the Hardzal. Hardzal, I don't know if he's going to be able to get out of this one. Trying for it, but spam will be enough, and they're ahead. Neckkeys, though, gets the follow-up and gets away. Flashbang to cover his escape. He's down. That was good. Molotov came in from his teammate in the nick of time. No more margin for error. 45 seconds, though, and there's not a lot of utility left. There's some smokes for PaiN, but that's it. So those smokes are going to go down now. There's one more on Big Uzera. Meanwhile, EG is going to go for a little boost up here by the barrels, but it's looked for it. Nithon's wise to it. He has been so good this map, and it hasn't even really been with the op in hand. He's doing it all with the rifle.
I think PKL heard the failed attempt by Hex as he fell off the lip of that lip of the corner there. He was going for the boost in, and afterwards Nithon was looking for it. And yeah, it kind of has to be. Looking at the economy, Wiz has the AWP, a smoke, and full body armor. Hex, an AK, full body armor, and a Molotov. You're better off saving in this case, even though you won't get the loss bonus. But yeah, EG, honestly, I would have probably liked them better to just go for the hit towards the B site once they get that trade instead of falling off, or I should say once they got that opening frag, at least try to get something. But yeah,
I think if they had managed to get the kill on Neckis, they maybe do. But because he slips away with just that sliver of health and the utility then comes in, then they're stumped, right? The Molotov comes in, they don't have the utility to execute on the way, and that just slows them down a little bit too much. So,
yeah.
For EG, now staring at a 4-round deficit. So many of these rounds have been close, right? So many of these rounds have been close, but PaiN Gaming have stayed the course, and it's turned into a really nice chunk of rounds.
Yeah, and honestly, the scoreline's deceiving at this point. 7-3 does not represent how close it has been, like you said. I think they've been going blow for blow. The mistakes are more pronounced in this type of matchup, right? Because each opponent can take advantage of the other quite handily, especially PaiN. And when EG is going to go for those executes at the very dying seconds of the round, PaiN is going to punish more often than not, as they have in 2 of those 3 rounds. So, all right, EG calling the timeout this time. They want to talk things over. Walco trying to pump up the troops here, and 4 AKs and an op to work with, thanks to that save from the previous round. Let's see what they decide to do this time. They're going to split up. They got a couple of players going in towards Monster, 2 into the lower tunnels, and Bigu is waiting there, in fact, towards Connector. This nade could be chunky, and no, not as much as you'd think. Wiz goes down to 47, though, at half health, and Bigu, perhaps hearing what's going on or seeing all that utility, is going to back off here to ensure that they don't get an early man deficit.
A man deficit, if you will. Walco's up on the angle. It's not as Clasia outside of Monster. It's Walco and Clasia trying to work this. We're leaving Clasia a lot on his lonesome out towards this side of the map to try and create something. We're a minute in. And that's some chunky damage coming through. A little bit of damage out towards long. A little bit of damage on the tap on PKL as well. He's lucky to get away with his life. This could get interesting now. They don't have the kills just yet. Is Classy just going to walk this? He's just going to walk this, and it won't work. Does some damage on a Neckys, but Neckys, he's good enough for that one. So now they've lost a player. They still really don't have a whole lot to show for it. Some forward positioning out towards long. That's kind of the best they got. Nithon looks like he wants to come into a fight, and with how lights out Nithon has been, this could get tough. A resmoke even in there. So for EG, they're going to be walking through a smoke with 30 seconds left. 25. Nithon's about to feast. Big Uzera's there. They've completely looked over it. They don't clear their corner. He was full blind and would have been a sitting duck, but they don't check the corner. And now he's gone through the smoke, so they don't know where he is. And once again, 14 seconds. There's just not enough time to make this round happen. At all. At all. Oh, this should be a save. Frankly, you can't win this round. Hex will get a couple of kills, but they're completely in tragedy. They will not result in a round win. Even this last one wouldn't make a difference. And fortunately, I believe he died before time. He did, in fact. He did. Die before time ran out, John.
Man, I mean, look, those frags do a bit of economic damage. PaiN doesn't exactly have an economic footing, so it helps there. But man, oh man, like throw the flashbang, throw the pop flash literally for that corner,
It's perfect.
and then don't clear it. Why?
It's
it was
ideal.
Great.
Just have to check it. Just have to turn left.
That's all they had to do.
Man,
and they didn't.
Zoolander, he didn't turn left.
Ah, man, it's just little mistakes are starting to pile up on the EG side. And now they're going to be stuck onto pistols only. 2 Deagles, a Tech 9, 2 Glocks, no utility, only body armor on 2 players, that's Chop and Hex. But they were quite effective at the very least with Glocks only in that one round. Even though they didn't win it, they got a couple of frags, opened up well. This time, nope. Big Uzera catches Walco, Nithon gets Hex, then, well, it's quickly a 5v3 in favor of PaiN.
Uzera. Nearly catching one, but instead it is Nithon to stack the bodies here. And, well, this is looking dire, to be quite frank, for EG. I mean, it feels like they've made this a 1v2, right? It's EG versus PaiN and the clock. They really have just done themselves no favors in so many rounds. And you got to imagine that time pressure is part of why we've seen a couple of these rounds where they just don't clear a corner. I mean, in that round, 30 seconds, and they're just going through the smoke at Divider, right? It's not even the take of the site. It's smoke at Divider. So, yeah, they're pressured. They're tense. Okay, let's see what Classy can do with the Deagle and his position known in 30 seconds. The answer is not a lot. So 1 kill onto Big Uzera is all they have to show in that round. 9 rounds are on the board here for PaiN. They're pressing for double digits, and despite so many of these rounds getting close, it's just not going to matter when the arithmetic's all said and done.
Yeah, and you said it was EG versus PaiN in the clock. I would argue it's EG versus Nithon and the clock because Nithon 20 frags in only 12 rounds of play, and he's actually only one of 2 players with a positive kill to death differential. I should say positive KDR both, right? Unbelievable work that he's been doing both with the rifle and the op, which is great to see because Nithon's actually been a little quieter as of late for PaiN, so he's really exploding here onto Overpass. And EG, well, they're back onto the rifles, but they need an answer.
This is kind of the ideal T side to play against if you're an Alpha too, right? Yes. Nithon can take a shot and just back away and rely on the fact that they are not going to chase quickly because they haven't yet. And so he could just post up on another angle, take a shot, withdraw, boost up here, post up, take a shot, withdraw. Yes. They give him so many opportunities, and he is feasting.
Oh.
All right, here's an opener. Here's something. An entry towards B, but here's the lineup. The AUG only gets 1. EG might have an inroad here, and they're going in with a minute still on the clock. Praise be to EG. They won't let the clock defeat them this time. Hardzo's in a tough spot. He does have Nithon for Overwatch, but there's a lot of smokes down on the site, so he also doesn't have vision. That's a good flashbang. That gets him through. And Chop with the transfer onto Heaven. 3 huge kills for Chop, and that is finally going to get EG back on the board here.
Yeah, Chop's that player you can always rely on when you're in a pinch. He comes and helps out, and that was a great 3K, especially those last 2 that he came out with towards Heaven. And EG will indeed find a 4th. You called it already before, Mike. They went out there with a minute left. They went for the execute, and it worked out fabulously. Not to mention, they were also into Monster and trying to take that fight towards Canal very early on, and Classia does indeed find that frag to help them get the entry. So there you have it. EG getting a 4th, and I'd say keeping PaiN off of double digits here, if EG can do it, would be an accomplishment and greatly increase their odds heading into that second half.
The thing is as well, right, because so many of these rounds have been scrappy right down to the last moments, for PaiN, there ain't no money, John.
No. I mean, it also goes to the fact that Nithon's been taking the lion's share of kills, right? So the money isn't exactly spread out.
That's actually funny as well, too, because this is one of those rare instances where the $100 kill reward from the AWP might actually matter when you've got a sample size of 20 kills in the half. That's, you know, 2,000 collective damage, right, or dollars, right, as opposed to the 6,000 you would get if they were all rifle kills.
Yes.
So
I mean, he did get some rifle kills in the mix, to be fair. But a lot of them have been with the AUG.
Let me do my stupid math. It doesn't matter, John. Let me pretend in absolutes.
Sure. All right, I'll let you live in that dream world, Mike. It's all you.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me do
You're
that.
welcome.
It's also not like that's actually that substantial an amount of money for either side. Whoa! Little blood sacrifice. Walko. Blood for the blood gods. Sometimes you need it for a team. Maybe that's the pact that EG have made to win this round. Little Walko blood to start things off. Oh, Burden in the Molotov. Hartzell wants to get aggressive here, and he does. He's got that deep construction control, but as has been EG's want, they are not getting aggressive on it. Klasia holding quite a ways back to see if they'll come looking for him. Because they're with connector control. It does mean that if they get util into top connector, they could actually potentially isolate Nithon. Now, I don't know how much you want to isolate Nithon as a fight. He's still pretty dang tough, isolated or not. But now he's been spotted. They know he's here. They know he's got the AWP. How do they approach this? With that information, flashbang in. Good one as well. Pulls him off the angle. And as he re-peeks in, now they're posted. Oh, no. Coming off the angle. And right back into it is Wiz. Nithon been comfortable the whole while, and he'll limp away with just a slim bit of health.
Man, Wiz tagged.
Oh, connector fight lost, John. Connector fight lost. Now it's alarm sirens ringing here for EG. It's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, they still got 3 players standing. 40 seconds to go for an execute and 3 smokes. It's going to be the rest of their utility coming up before the smokes, but they don't really do much off of it. They don't peek off of it. Nithon's going to come around that corner. He takes care of Walko, and at this point, 30 seconds. You could double back and try to go to the B site, but you don't really have much visibility there. And I mean, with Hex positioned upwards here, maybe they just decide to go away and hope for the best. And wow, what a shot from Nithon.
I mean, he's nuts with that AWP for sure. But I mean, all right, so Walko's in the corner of the bathrooms, right? He sees Nithon jump spot him.
Yep.
And then he stays there.
Yep.
That is not a winning formula against an Opera of any caliber, but really, especially if they're Nithon right now. That
Actually,
that is not good for your health.
I thought it was Wiz that actually tagged Nithon, but no, it was rifle bullets that got him down to 17, and Wiz just completely whiffed, unfortunately, there. Oh, boy.
Well, Wiz just, I mean, he swung back into the angle, and Nithon was posted, right? Just tried to
I think he had a moment to fire, but yeah.
It's rough. It's rough out here for EG. Double digits on the board here for PaiN. Aggression from Bigu is actually answered. They finally got the aggression. Now let's see if EG can work with the early advantage.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there made by PaiN, but it's going to happen eventually, right? They're up 10-4. They think, okay, let's go for a bit of a push and try to really put the hammer down on EG, but they were punished that time quite quickly. Good flashbang thrown there. That blinds both Wiz and Hex and gives PKL a chance to reposition because he's got the information he was looking for. He's going to go back to this A site and toss a smoke into Monster just for good measure.
Oh, he's got the spot and he's got the shot, but gives himself up for dead in the same breath. The trade is instant. Just went for the kill he knew he had, and they are rolling on in. Utility is good this time. There's no one on the site. The rotations haven't been quick enough because EG are ahead of their own schedule, so this bomb is going down. Good util, but the counter util is even better. Hearts out down to 1 point of health. PaiN Gaming, they're going to mount this retake. It's certainly the last round of the half, but this is a tough situation. Gonna try and get back on. This first kill could be everything. They do have a smoke. To just go for the stick. PKL, the healthiest player, would presumably be the one who wants to get on there. Especially now that that damage has been done onto Nikiz. So here it comes. Time to get down onto that stick. PKL's fighting forward instead. And this could be rough with PKL down. Hartzell on 1 point of health. Can't even survive an aid. 10-5. 5 rounds at a minimum here for EG. We'll see after the break.
love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
And we're back with the second half. PaiN Gaming emerging with a 10-5. EG making life difficult at times with their very slow playstyle, but that shouldn't be an issue here on the CT side. Meanwhile, PaiN, a much more dynamic T-side team typically.
Yes.
Bringing the fireworks early, and they're trying to. Chop withdraws. Only a bit of damage taken. He's actually able to get away quite effectively, and he's around the corner as well. They are chasing. The cavalry is coming. Two rotating up already. Walko even pushing in for a little connector control, but as of yet, no casualty. And that is much to the chagrin of PaiN. They are trying for these early fights, but they've been rebuffed.
Yeah, pretty fantastic movement there from Wiz, who backed off from all the way down long A and still is alive and kicking down to 29 HP. Excuse me, yes, Chop. Chop down to 48. It was one of them. I couldn't recall either
One of the
way.
guys who's ouchied.
Yeah, but it's still both players doing a good job staying alive here, right? And PaiN can't deal that killing blow, which they do really work off of in their pistol rounds.
Look at this approach from PaiN, though. They know that if they were on the other side, they might have a flank all the way through into its spawn. So they're looking to fight that. Instead, what's going to wind up happening is Walko's going to be put into a really tough spot. He's going to get pinched. Player and connector. 3 players approaching from the sewers. This could be really tough for Walko. It's going to have to be good with that USP to do much of anything here. And Neck is showing face with the P250 is going to hold him in place.
Right.
This slightly more powerful pistol now means that they've got a clear path in. Walko will find the connected player, so he actually does draw first blood. But he needs to stay alive. Hex from heaven drops the bomb. That's critical. 15 seconds. This could get bad for PaiN. They need to get that bomb down. It seems like the clock is the worst enemy of both sides right now. But they found the kills. Big Zero tapping away one after another. And now Clasia can't deny it. Somehow, some way, PaiN pull off that round.
Okay, I'm trying to break that down right now. Big U with the Glock from that range should be at a disadvantage going up against not one but 3 USPs. Instead, he gets 3 headshots, well-placed shots in fact, and gets the frags and deals the killing blow. I mean, look, PaiN were up against it. 11 seconds left on the clock. Big U had to hit all those shots, and he delivered in spades. EG just could not find a way to close out the round despite a valiant effort from Walko to get an opening frag in a situation where he was the only one on the B site, and Hex coming through and following it up. Oh, that's a big round to lose, honestly, if you're EG. They really looked like they could close it out.
They did. But snappy shooting from Big U Zera with that clock. I mean, just good with it. Just snappy with it. PaiN, though. I mean, it seems like the time issues may not be changing now that we've got the half switch, right? They don't get the early fight.
Yeah.
Might take the time, but good damage with the USPs. We've seen USPs went around before. Oh, I'm going to lose my mind if it happens again. Engagement here. Wiz back in the corner. Can't imagine he'd escape, but he's done so much damage on Neki. His Neki is vulnerable. We're a minute down on the clock, and PaiN do seem pretty committed in towards this A take, but there are 3 USPs here. This time, no op as well. Last time, that was sort of the critical piece. 3 kills with it does tend to help. But instead, it's going to be Nithon who's got first contact, and he can be spotted from the side. PKL comes in to save him, but only for a moment. And PKL is low. Clasia on the other side of the map will not really be able to do anything about this, provided the bomb leaves. And it will.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea from Clasia if his teammates are able to stay alive, which they clearly were not, and he would have had an interesting flank at this point, but with everyone down, now he's just trying to find some frags, maybe an upgrade, but you see the contrast in styles of T-side play on display early on in this half. EG, very slow, methodical, they don't like going for their executes before that 30-second mark, versus PaiN, who go for it as soon as they find an opening frag. They're going to build off it, they're going to take that momentum and just try to grab hold of the round. You saw that with 50 seconds left, they were already going onto that bomb site. It is an anti-eco, but still, PaiN are going to be much more aggressive than EG.
One kill? One kill? No. So much damage done. And yet only 1 player dropped. And it's Nithon. I just want to take another moment to shout out Nithon for 26 kills.
Oh boy.
In 17 rounds. 26 kills in 17 rounds. That is a pretty ferocious performance for the Opper.
It is. And he's been doing it with the rifle and the op, which is very reminiscent to Safe, right? He's really filled in that role so well on the PaiN side. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's blossomed beautifully in this roster. The opportunities given over, he has shown that he is absolutely up to the task of being a star for this team. It's very exciting for Nithon. Before this, was just competing in Brazil for the most part. So, I mean, it's been a while now. God, it's crazy. It's been months.
It has, yeah.
We're deep into the year, John.
Yeah.
How does time keep moving? What's happening?
Just does.
Wiz tucked into the corner here. This is a critical round for EG. They need this to work, and the leg is spotted, but the kill doesn't come through. Wiz drop for nothing. Walko not in position to trade that, not in position to do much of anything at all, as Wiz was really in a one-and-done angle and doesn't get the one. So now the util's going to come in, and PaiN look like they just want to pressure on towards A, and admittedly, it's the right read. Shop's rotating, but he's in a tough spot to get through to help out his comrade. Yeah, taking a moment, though. And actually, their hesitation really does help EG out here.
I think they're waiting to see how much Big U can find here towards the B site.
He's just found one. There's another player out towards Monster. That might not be predicted. Indeed, it's not, so he's dropped. So no rotation available. But he does go 1 for 1. Walker with a good shot. They need to hang on here, do EG.
Oh, man.
25 seconds. PaiN Gaming starting to run this clock down in a big way. 1 for 1 in the truck angle. They double swing. This time, Walker can't get it done. And now, 1 by 1, they falter. 1 by 1, they fall. And somehow, some way, PaiN again pull it off in the last couple of seconds.
30 frags for Nython, a 4K in the round. That double peak was great, and without it, maybe he wouldn't have gotten that third frag, but wow, Nython is on fire. He's shutting down the EG side, and I was worried a bit for PaiN in that one because maybe they're catching whatever EG was trying to deliver in that first half with those slow, methodical pace of play and going below that 30-second mark, but they did manage to pull it off with some wicked shots. And now 13-5, they have not yet given up a round in this second half. And honestly, Mike, I expected EG to come out with a lot more here in this second half on their CT side, and seeing PaiN already up to 13 is very problematic for EG.
Well, Walker's going to try something with the Deagle there. It's not going to work out too dang well. Nick is dealing with it, and that player incredibly isolated as well means that this is going to work out.
I would have rather seen them try to go something a little riskier, Mike, in that situation. One player up this level.
Yeah, did seem a bit isolated. As it is, PaiN are taking their time with this. They're very much spread around the map, not committed to anything as we hit 50 seconds on the clock. Not a lot of show for it. Some control being taken for Nython. Oh, he's got a lot of space out towards long, but he's alone. He's super alone. They're just going to let him do things, and he has found the gap. Uh-oh. This could be the punish right here. Might signal the rotation as well. That's the kill in, but they're still going into the city. It's just pistols, but it is the stacked site, and, well, the stack doesn't matter if you kill everybody. Next. Drops. Chop. Last to go, and indeed, it is PaiN on the cleanup. They would have had the insurance policy of Nython making his way in towards heaven, even if that didn't happen. But it is going to be PaiN to trundle on forward. They got 14 rounds now, John. They haven't dropped one since the half switch.
This is supposed to be EG's bread and butter map. This is the one they feel comfortable on and have time and time again embarrassed opponents on it or come out with some very close victories. This time, though, I mean, PaiN has taken advantage of the mistakes that EG made, and honestly, EG did spoon feed a few rounds to PaiN in that first half, right? It could have been a much closer scoreline, but that nade stack isn't going to work out towards boost spot because EG aren't exactly positioned in that direction. So that's lucky for them as they keep all 5 alive with strong health for the most part.
We do love a nade stack, though.
Yeah.
Walker out towards long is about to have his hands full, and never mind, he's dead before he sees most of those players entirely. It's Nython instead who gets the opening pick. He's been very good with that AWP, and, well, he's very good again. So that space taken towards long is to be up to Wiz to reclaim it, and he will go looking, but he is very isolated. Chop could potentially throw util from sight to help bail him out, but this is going to be tough. He's trying to create here, and as he withdraws, going to be hot on his heels. Actually tuck in, really commit, and he's making noise doing this as well. I think they may have heard this. They're coming looking, and indeed Big Uzera gets the kill, and now it's all on the top. So many to find, and he's getting nothing. He's getting nothing done. This would be map point. Hex on the flank might be their last hope. It's Class here by the dumpster. It's Hex walking through, and just like ships in the night, it's past house out. He's not going to be able to deny the bomb plant, but he does get the first kill. Problem is now he's flanked, and he knows it. He's in a tough spot, and it's not going to get any easier. Map point found for PaiN. They continue to just absolutely roll through EG, and there won't even be a gun round by to do this. They're going to have to force it, obviously, for EG, but there will be limitations. There will be deprivations. There will be SMGs and scouts out here on the server as they desperately try and get a chance to at least show what they've got in the second half on Overpass.
Yeah, EG does not look in sync as they usually do here. More often than not, if Wiz is going out there towards short A, a flashbang is going to be thrown for him to peek around there, but Chop was so laser focused towards long A, they used up all his utility there, and Wiz was left on an island, so he tried to go for an aggressive play, a little too aggressive, was heard, and then easily cleaned out. So, I don't know, and here Class is going to take the early damage down to 32, and now back off, but PKL is going to get all this real estate, and oh boy, Chop was exposed for a moment on that B site, but he does manage to hop away. Unbeknownst to him, of course, PKL is right there waiting around the corner, and Hex could go down here. He does. Hards out gets one for him, but PKL the 2K, I think this one's already over.
It's looking like it. It's looking like it. PKL will poke on a 13 here to just about close out the game. Wiz with the scout in a 1v5 desperation station, and the first shot hits. The first shot connects, but so many more are needed, and, well, missing your nades like that isn't going to make it any easier. He's gone to the rifle instead. He has the ONS, but he smoked off. His position's known, and he's a man behind enemy lines. What is he even going to do here? There's not even hope. He doesn't even have a kit, John. It's full desperation. He knows he could be flanked at any moment, but he's got to go. He's just got to yeet this. He will find the first. He will deal with that flank, but he's into the crossfire here, and certainly there's no escape now. The double swing in, the shot from PK.